Welcome to the Elliott Confidential podcast. I'm Christopher Elliott, and I'm here with my boy Aren. Hey,
Yes.
Aren.
Hello, your favorite son, or the only son available here.
My only son available, yes. Everyone else has flown the coop. Good to be with you.
Yeah, good to be with you too.
And nice to see everyone else too.
Yeah.
I can imagine you all out there listening. We have survived the samba and heavy drinking of Carnaval here in São Paulo, and live to tell the tale. So today we're going to talk about what we saw, the G-rated version.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really that bad because we weren't out at night. I mean, we didn't see cars getting overturned. I don't know what the heck happened, what would have happened.
Cars getting overturned?
I think that's more for protests.
Yeah, well, you never know. Our question of the week is, the last 2 or 3 weeks we've seen some dire warnings from the State Department about not going to certain places, Jamaica, Ecuador, the Bahamas. And so what I would like to know is, are there any places in 2024 that are on your do not visit list? So please let us know in the comments about places that you're absolutely going to avoid this year. And the reason I'm asking is that this is travel planning season right now. We're in the middle of it. So a lot of folks have already, made plans for spring break if you're going on spring break, but for summer vacation, now is the time. So are there any places that you are avoiding? Are there any places you're avoiding, Aren?
Well, I have a list of places that I normally avoid, when I think about places that I do not want to go back to. I can tell you, Ecuador is on that list, 100%. That's like, we have a thing going where we rate our countries, just based on our sort of relative ratings to one another. And I think that Ecuador was, firmly at the bottom of the list.
Yes. Well, our ratings are, we have a top 10 list and a bottom 10, and then we have a top half, bottom half. So when we get to a country, we say, okay, this is a top half country, but we don't really know exactly where it falls because we're going to give it time. Or in some cases, we see we're in a place and we say, oh, this is definitely not a top half, this is the bottom half. But it remains to be seen where. But I would say also that our top 10 list changes over time.
Yeah, it does. And also the relative ratings, being here in South America has made me think differently about our edgy takes on Croatia. Because I can tell you that, Croatia's safe and clean relative to some of these other places we've been.
And you can drink the water too.
Yeah, and you can drink the water. It's great.
I mean, there's a lot of places where you can't even drink the water. And you can't flush toilet paper down the toilet. It's really terrible.
Yeah, that reminds me of actually Cyprus. But Cyprus is, I would say, still better than Croatia, even though Croatia, you can drink the water and flush toilet paper down the drain or down the toilet. You can flush it down.
Anyway, so tell us what destinations you are avoiding. I think for me, I would probably not go back to Ecuador, and I'm going to not go to Jamaica. Jamaica got a really severe State Department warning, and then I watched this documentary on Netflix called Who Shot the Sheriff? I haven't gotten all the way through it, about who tried to shoot Bob Marley, and I thought, oh man, I didn't realize things were pretty bad. I'm not sure if they still are, but I don't know if I want to go find out.
Yeah. That's a great song, though, the I Shot the Sheriff with Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Yes, that's good. That's
good.
Let's talk a little bit about Carnaval.
Yeah. So we went over to Parque Ibirapuera. So
I'm glad you said that, because my Portuguese, that's not good.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so we went to Parque Ibirapuera.
Yeah.
And up in the North Gate, they had a huge samba festival.
Cordoned off.
Yeah.
And you could really hear the samba.
You could hear it from miles away.
You could hear it probably from our apartment. Yeah. It was very, very loud. And we got there early in the morning. So we're usually walking in the park at around 9, 10 o'clock. And already things were a little crazy. Mm-hmm. So we walk through. We're going to post a picture of this. We keep walking and you get stopped.
Oh yeah, I got stopped because I was, and they wanted to see what was in my bag. So we have this really cool tote bag from a company called Happy Task.
Best tote bag ever.
Best tote bag. If you go to Japan, buy it, look for it, seek it out, because it's one of the best purchasing decisions that I've ever made.
Ever.
Trust me.
And you have to also mention why it's a good purchasing
So
decision.
there are really two things. Firstly, it attaches to your luggage.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is that when you're done using it, you can also fold it up.
Oh, it
and
folds
you can,
nicely, yeah.
It folds very, very nicely. So you can fold it and carry it with you without having the normal problem, which is that a tote bag typically is flopping everywhere while you're trying to travel with it. So you can fold it up and then go to the grocery store, and you don't have to worry about having this really conspicuous bag flopping around with you.
Yeah. We could do an entire podcast just on tote bags, but briefly, tote bags are, the problem with tote bags is they don't have a little sleeve for your rail, your luggage rail.
Yeah.
And so if you carry it with you, it will flop back and forth and it'll fall off.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing. So this Hapitas
Yeah.
has a rail, sleeve for the rail, and it's also very compact. It's also very rare. We got one, and then we tried to buy another one, and they were out.
Yeah.
So if you go to Japan, if you go to like Tokyo, or I think we got
bought
ours
it in Osaka.
yeah.
Not Osaka. We got it in Kyoto.
Yeah,
We got it at Kyoto Station. It was
Yeah.
this. It was right next to it.
In the
There
mall.
was
Yeah.
There's a mall with a Don Quixote.
So if you go there,
just south of Kyoto Station.
just look for it, ask for it. They're great. This is not a product endorsement. I don't know anyone over there, but they make a great tote bag. Anyway, so they wanted to stop you for your tote bag, and they actually physically restrained you and frisked you.
Yeah.
They are very strict about people bringing paraphernalia in. The security is very tight. But once you get in, everyone is drinking and dancing. Now, we were there at 10 in the morning, and people were drinking, dancing, carrying on, lots of the magic weed being smoked. And then you get closer to where the samba schools are, and it is just earth-shatteringly loud.
It is really loud, and it's the same exact beat every time. It's and I don't really remember it, but yeah, it's very loud, and it really drowns out, because it wasn't just samba there. There was another concert.
Yes,
So you had people with drums on one hand, and then there was another person singing and doing a little bit more of modern pop music or popular, more produced samba music. And then beside them, there was just like this. It was I don't know. Maybe it was
just a cacophony. It's just like different sounds merging and everything like that. And then you have very colorful parades. Each samba school, they're all dressed up, and they have a band. It's very beautiful, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think that later on in the day, if you had come back at maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, you would have found many more people there. We like to keep early hours, so for us, we wouldn't have come back at 6 or 7 o'clock. But I think that once, if you had done that, you would have found it wall to wall with people, and they would have been all having a good time.
Yeah.
I imagine. Very good time. My takeaway from Carnival is, if you're into that kind of thing, there is probably no better place in the world to do it than in São Paulo, with the possible exception of Rio. What was your takeaway, Aren?
Well, I mean, it seems like a nice little party. I mean, the security's high. But if you really like going to a place and having that samba music and drinking a lot, I mean, man, you can get as many drinks as you want in some of these places. Just because everyone is there to sell you drinks, really.
Yeah.
As they've got alcoholic drinks, caffeinated beverages, whatever you want. I mean, just hang out, chill, drink.
Just don't bring your gun.
Don't bring your gun. Don't bring one of those tote bags, because what they'll do is they'll unzip the whole thing,
and then you can't put it back.
And then you have to, you can't put it back. Exactly.
I thought it was really interesting. I mean, I am not much of a party person, so for me, I'm glad I really went at 10 o'clock in the morning instead of late at night. But it's interesting just to observe the culture. Every store in São Paulo was closed, except for the restaurants, but all the businesses were closed on Tuesday for Carnaval. It was a very, very big deal for the people here. They're very proud of it. They're proud of their samba. They're very proud of their parades and all the decorations, which are really, I haven't seen decorations like this in any parade. I mean, I've been to a lot of parades. They have like just very brightly colored things.
Yeah, they have these mascots,
Yeah.
it's just these animal heads on sticks. And
Right, and then fish too. There's
Yeah.
a lot of fish. Anyway, would I come back? Would you come back, Aaron, for Carnival? Maybe try Rio next time? I think I know the answer.
I'm not into these sort of things, I wasn't too impressed, but this is the thing, is I'm not really a night person, so it kind of it's something that excludes my enjoyment of it. There's no way I'm gonna stay up until 11.
Yeah.
Seeing these sort of parties. So I don't think that really I would ever go to a place for a big party like that. So in that case, not really, not
Yeah.
very interested.
Yeah, I'd probably. I think it depends who I'm with. If I'm with people who like to have a good time, maybe. But I don't drink, so that kind of limits things. And I don't smoke, and I definitely do not smoke the magic weed. I would never be able to get any work done if I did that. Might be very creative. Panning back a little bit, though, Aaron, we're at the halfway point here in São Paulo. What do you think of South America's largest city?
This is a very, very interesting city, and I like some parts of it. I like the fact that we're near a lot of good things, and for the largest city in South America, I mean, you really see some of the innovation. When we go to the grocery store, they have an option where you can pay with your face.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty neat. Face pay.
Yeah, face pay.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And we're where we are. We're near a nice neighborhood and a good, nice park, and
All the consulates are here, right?
yeah. I mean, I guess the thing is, in terms of city, like it's a big city. There's a lot. I mean, I was looking the other day about 50 kilometers away from here, and the city continues, and there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I just think that even though it is a big city, I don't feel like there's so much. Really, everything is so spread out that it's kind of like being in LA. In LA, you can be in one part of LA and never see the other parts just because traffic and because it's such a large city.
So I agree with you. It is very spread out, but there are a lot of green spaces here, which I like. Now, if you go to a place like Osaka, there really are not that many parks. And so as far as that's concerned, you see people out in the parks, and green spaces are always good if you're living in the city.
Mm-hmm.
It is also a very cultural city. You have museums. We've been to a couple of those already. For example, we went to the art museum last weekend, and they have the sculptures are the things that I think are the most noteworthy. They really like sculpture here. But it is also, when you say LA, I think that reminds me a lot of LA because it's so, each neighborhood is very, very different. You can go to one neighborhood and have one experience and then go to another neighborhood and have a completely different experience. It's not like being in Europe where there's a lot that's the same. Here, it's very eclectic and very different. So we will explore, and we will continue letting you know. I have a meeting set up next week with the tourism people, and I'm going to see if I can talk to them about the city itself and where we might want to go. But our time is winding down rapidly, so we don't have much time to explore, but we will definitely do that, and we'll report back. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about surviving another carnival.
Yeah.
In our last podcast, we asked you about places that you've been where they've had a big event, like Carnival or Mardi Gras or the Weihnachtsmarkt in Germany and Austria, and you had a lot to say. Mickey says, I've ridden in the Mardi Gras parades in New Orleans and experienced a full Mardi Gras season last year. Mickey lives in New Orleans. Sadly, it was marred by crashing my car in traffic after one of the big parades. Oh no. My advice, don't try to drive right before or after a parade. A lot of locals leave town for Deep Gras, the big parade days that start about a week ahead of Fat Tuesday. Aren, I have never been to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. I am told that it's crazy, but I was there right afterwards. And that actually brings me to a really cool secret about travel, is that there is a time right after the big event. So directly after Mardi Gras, or, I'm thinking more like Labor Day too, or after New Year's, Dead Week, which comes right after New Year's, where the prices go down, the crowds are gone, and it's really a great time to be there. Now, I'm not entirely sure about New Orleans because I know that spring break is really big there. But there is a time, I want to say in May, really, when all the spring breakers leave, and it's really great in New Orleans. And actually, that was the last time that we were in New Orleans, was in May, and it was there just weren't that many people there. Chris says we were in El Calafate, Argentina, between hiking Torre de Paine, I know I mispronounced that, and heading to Ushuaia and an Antarctic cruise. This was for the big match for the World Cup. Car horns blaring, flags waving, people cheering with nationalistic pride. You know what? We were there right after that, and we were also on an Antarctic cruise, and people were still talking about the win, and there were stories that were being told about how crazy things got.
Yeah, well, I remember we were driving to the airport, or from the airport rather, and there was a car full of drunk Argentinians like singing soccer songs. Remember that?
That's right, because we were there actually in January of 23, so they had just won.
Yeah.
We were not there for the match, but afterwards. Yeah, I remember, it was a car full of young, attractive women who were not sober. Sam says, for about 5 straight years, I went to Sydney for Vivid Sydney, the annual free lighting of the harbour event. The white sails of the Opera House became a screen of moving colors, art images, and videos of dancers or fish moving from sail to sail. That sounds like so much fun. Yeah. I have always wanted to be down in Hobart for the Sydney Hobart yacht race. I'm going to try to make it someday.
Rick says, we're headed to Venice tomorrow for the end of Carnival. You have a hotel reservation in Venice proper, about 20-minute walk away from the train station. We have been told that the weekend is the busiest time. We hope that's right. Well, I hope that you have a great time with Carnival in Venice. I mean, if it's busy, I don't know what's happening. It's going to be like a sea of people.
It will. It's more of a mask thing where they have these beautiful masks, and we made those the last time we were in Venice. And it's like in Austria they had something called Fasching also, which happens around about the same time, where it's more of they have the masquerade balls, and it's pretty interesting and very cold too. It's the coldest time of the year. Yeah. Ross says Carnival in Rio. We've been twice, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. both times. Fantastic show. Would do it again if timing permits. Ross, did you say 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.? Okay, those are my bedtime hours. I don't think so.
I couldn't handle that. It's 14 hours. It's a lot of work.
No, I mean, I'm looking at my sleep score here, and it's not that good, even with sleeping the correct hours. Moot Gallery says, it was a crisp autumn morning in Munich, Germany, and the city was alive with the promise of Oktoberfest. It sounds like the beginning of a novel. The air was filled with the scent of bratwurst and the sound of cheerful chatter as we made our way to Theresienwiese, the festival grounds. Oh, Oktoberfest. I would love to do Oktoberfest. And I spent 1 year in Passau, Germany, 1969 to 1970. I was just a little boy. and that's where I learned to speak German. But we never went to Oktoberfest for obvious reasons. You don't take a 3-year-old or 2-year-old to Oktoberfest, at least if you're American. Anyway.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Oktoberfest is one of the festivals that I really would like to go to. Everyone is extra happy. Did you know that in Russia, beer is considered a soft drink?
yeah.
Someone told me that the other day. Well, that's it for the LA Confidential podcast. I'm so glad that you joined us. And I hope that you got some great information from this podcast. We told you some of our secrets. The tote bag secret's a good one.
Yeah.
And,
That's a really good one.
Yeah, yeah. And so we'll see you next week when we will still be in São Paulo, but we will also have information from the official tourism channels. So we might have some more secrets for you. I'll see you then. Ciao, ciao.
See you then. Bye.